So, do you like the Pokemon trading card game online? Do you like when people make guides about card categories in the Pokemon trading card game online? Well, boy, do I got the video for you. PTCGO. Welcome back to my beginner's guide series about the Pokemon trading card game online. In this particular video, we are going to try to briefly go over the card categories that exist in the game. I would say card types, but types are a thing in the Pokemon trading card game online and regular Pokemon. I don't want anybody to get confused, so I'll just say card categories in the Pokemon trading card game online. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, in order to see your cards, you go to this menu here. It brings out a drop-down menu, and you click Collection. And then it will show you all the cards that you have in their different, well, categories. Alright, so the category of card we're going to be going over this video will be the Pokemon cards. I'll do trainers and energies in separate videos. So the Pokemon cards are a category of cards. But each category, Pokemon, trainer, and energy, each category of those cards has subcategories based on different criteria. Alright, now if you ever want to see your collection stats, you can go here, you can go to statistics, and then after you go to statistics, you go to collection stats, and that shows you the different stats or some stats for your collection. The most of one card is Porygon. Yo, listen, the Porygon army is ready for battle, or maybe not. Let's go back to collection. All right, so these are Pokemon cards. I'm gonna scroll and you will see the amount that I have. These cards are organized alphabetically, so I'm just gonna scroll and show you the cards just to give you an idea. I'm still at A. I'm still scrolling and I'm still in the A's. Here we are, still in A's. So you get the idea. There are a lot of cards in the game. Don't be too worried though, because not all cards are good. So if you want to make a good deck, you don't need to know all the cards. But hey, listen, knowing all the cards can help you with certain things, but you really only need to know the good cards. So let's get into categorizing the cards, or the cards in this category. Because like I said, the categories are subcategories. So you can categorize cards based off of different criteria. You can categorize them based on their type, their stage, their attack cost, retreat cost, attributes, tags, rarity, so on and so forth. But I'm going to categorize these cards based off of attributes and based off of stage. Some stages, some attributes, not all. First category of card. Regular cards. Regular cards, they are, well, regular. They don't have anything special going on for them, apart from some of them might have abilities. But for the most part, regular cards, you can identify them by just seeing their name. And next to their name, to the right of their name, there's nothing there. It doesn't say, there's no special symbol, there's no extra writing, it's just their name and that's it. That's how you know the cards are regular. Regular cards can be basic, stage 1 or stage 2, depending on what stage of evolution they are in. When you knock out a basic, or not basic, when you knock out a regular card, you take one prize card, okay? Let's move on to the other category, break. Now break cards are special because they evolve from regular cards. All these cards evolve from regular cards. So as you can see, the break cards, they're golden, they're landscape view, and they evolve from regular cards. You can see this right here, evolves from Bronzong. So if you have a regular Bronzong, then you can evolve it into a Bronzong break if you have the Bronzong break card. Now break cards, they have decent abilities. Some of them have good abilities, like this one. This ability is pretty good. And then some of them have attacks that you can use. Like, I have a break card. Where is it? Kaiser Tackle. Yeah, back in the day when I used to play, this attack used to be really strong. Kaiser Tackle, because no card really had more than 180 HP. Now, 180 damage isn't enough to do anything, bro. I'm just kidding. 180 damage is still a lot. But back then, it mattered more, because cards did not have as much HP. But that's breaks. They have some strong attacks, or they have some decent abilities. When you knock out a break card, you take one prize card. Next category of card, EXs. Now EX is a broad category, and there are two types of EXs. You have regular EXs and then you have mega EXs. Now EXs, they tend to have a decent more HP than regular cards, some of them. The newer regular cards will have a lot of HP because of power creep, but the older EXs, the HP is still okay. Some of them have abilities, some of them have attacks, or all of them have attacks, and they're just stronger than regular cards. That's basically it for EXs. When you knock out an EX, a regular EX, you take 2 prize cards. Now let's go to Mega EXs. Now Mega EXs evolve from regular EXs, and Mega EXs, they have more HP than EXs, and their attacks are typically a little bit stronger. So when you run into a Mega EX, or when you ran into a Mega EX, because nobody really uses these anymore because the newer cards are just stronger, or these cards are just outdated. But when you use these back in the day, yeah, they did a decent amount of damage. They were okay at their job, had decent HP, good damage. Someone might have abilities, and that's what they did. Do any of these have abilities? No. But maybe some Mega EXs have abilities. When you knock out a Mega EX, you take 2 prize cards. Now, the only catch with Mega EXs is that in order to get them onto the field, you have to have the regular EX that evolves into it. But when you evolve a regular EX into a Mega EX, then your turn will automatically end. But there are cards, or there is a card in this game called Spirit Link that removes that effect. So if this card is attached to a regular EX, when that regular EX evolves into the Mega EX, then the turn does not end. But if they don't have a Spirit Link attached, the turn ends. So that's EXs and Mega EXs. Now we go into Pokemon GXs, which this is a subcategory, but this subcategory has also some categories. The 2 categories of GXs are regular GXs and then tag team GXs. Regular GXs have a decent amount of HP, have some decent damage, and all GXs have this thing at the bottom here. At the bottom of the card, this is their GX move. This one is Tower Go Round GX. We have different GX moves depending on the card. This one's Ice Path GX. This one's Stalking Claws GX. And as you can see, when you look at GX card, you'll see the letter GX at the name. Same thing for the Megas, or not Megas, the EXs. You would see EX at their name, and Megas would have Mega EX at their name. So GXs, like I said, decent HP, a lot of HP, decent damage, and they have GX attacks. When you knock out a GX, you take 2 prize cards, a regular GX. If you knock out a regular GX, you take 2 prize cards. Now we move on to the big dogs. These are tag team GXs, and they typically have multiple Pokemon on the card and in the card's name, right? For instance, over here we have Piplup and Blastoise, right? Over here we have Charizard and Braixen. So tag team GXs have 2 Pokemon names in the card name, and then they have the GX at the end. Tag team GXs, as you can see, have more than average HP. They have a lot of HP. 270 HP, that's a lot. They also have GX moves, and they have regular moves. Tag team GXs are also basic, so you can play them as soon as you get them. Regular GXs are also basic. Well, some regular GXs are basic, and then some are not. Some regular GX cards evolve from regular Pokemon, but tag team GXs are just basic. All of them are basic, and they're very strong. When you knock out a tag team GX, you take 3 prize cards. Now Pokemon Vs, what are these? Well, Pokemon Vs are like the newest form of strong cards. These came out in Sword and Shield, and I guess they're supposed to imitate Dynamaxing. Well, Pokemon Vs, they have a good amount of HP, some decent attacks on them. Some of them might have some abilities, and what they do is that they attack. They're also basic, the regular ones. So they're regular Pokemon Vs, and then they're Pokemon V Maxes, and then they're Pokemon V Unions, and they're Pokemon V Stars. So regular Vs, when you play them, they're just that card. You read what they do. Decent HP, good damage. Some might have abilities. When you knock out a Pokemon V, a regular Pokemon V, you take 2 prize cards. Now moving on to V Maxes. V Maxes evolve from regular Pokemon Vs, right? V Maxes have a lot of HP, and most times they have decent attacks, very good attacks. But their attacks might cost a decent amount of energies to use. Some of them even have abilities, like Eternatus V Max over there. So you'll tell that they're V Max because they'll have the word V Max at the end of their name, and they have a nice little art that you can have. When you knock out a Pokemon V Max, you take 3 prize cards. Moving on to V Star. I only have 1 V Star. Oh, look at me. But V Star, I can show you the ones that I don't own if I do that. But I only have this one. V Stars evolve from Pokemon V, but V Stars tend to have a little less HP than Pokemon V Maxes, but they have attacks, and they all have something called a Star Power. Star Power is similar to a GX move. but the GX move is always a move. Star Power can actually be an ability. So in this case, during your turn, you can heal 120 damage range of your bench grass Pokemon. So this is a V Star Power when you use it as a special effect. So that's a Pokemon V Star. They have V Star powers. Oh, and by the way, GX moves and V Star powers, you can only use them once per game unless stated otherwise, right? So V Star powers, you can only use one of them. GX moves, you can only use one of them per game. When you knock out a Pokemon V Star, you do not take 3 prize cards, even though some people might want that. You take 2 instead. Oh, and this is the next category. And in this category is where I'd put my V Unions. If I had one! Alright, so I don't have any V Unions, so I'm just gonna have to do this, show them not own. So V Unions, they are special cards. They're not necessarily basic, but they kinda are. You'll get it. I'll say what I mean by that. But V Union, basically what it is that it is one big card with 4 subunits. In order to use the big card, you have to have at least one of each subunit in your discard pile. You cannot play the subunits by themselves. The subunits by themselves cannot be played. But when you have 4 subunits or 4 different subunits in the discard pile, you can summon the V Union. And the V Union will come as one big card. Now each subunit of the V Union has a special thing that they can do. For instance, this one has an attack, this one has an ability and an attack. It also shows you the HP, which is a lot. This one has another ability and another attack, and this one has an ability and an attack. When you knock out a V Union card, you take 3 prize cards. Okay, I'll show you a picture of what this V Union card looks like when all 4 subunits combine right now. That's what it looks like, and that's basically all the important categories of card that you really need to know. There are some different subcategories, like for instance Prism Stars. But Prism Stars, just to go over them very quickly, they're basically like regular Pokemon, like regular cards, but they have, some of them have some abilities, some of them have decent attacks, their HP is not too bad. And the important thing about Prism Stars is that when you lose a Prism Star Pokemon card, it goes into your lost zone instead of your discard pile. So if a Prism Star card is knocked out, it goes into your... When you knock out a Prism Star card, you take 1 prize card. Then we have Single Strike, Rapid Strike, and Fusion Strike. Single Strike is like a different way of categorizing cards. So instead of categorizing them by like EX or GX, we're categorizing them based on whether a Single Strike, Rapid Strike, or Fusion Strike. Single Strike can be regular, they can be Vs, like this, or they can even be V Maxes. Let's see. Yeah, they can be V Maxes, like that. And it's the same thing for Fusion Strike and Rapid Strike. Alright, so that's basically all the categories of card that I pay attention to and that you should probably know. It's important to know how many cards you get for knocking out a card, because that will help you to determine what is the best move. Which Pokemon should you try to knock out? Which Pokemon is worth knocking out? I got disconnected from the game, so I'm gonna have to load back in. Alright, we're back in the game. I got disconnected for a second there. So that's basically the main categories of card that I think you need to watch out for. So like, if you have a V and you realize that your opponent can take 2 prize cards, if they knock out your V Pokemon, then you might say, oh shoot, I don't want them to knock out my V Pokemon. Maybe I should switch. Maybe I should heal if I have a healing card. Maybe I should do something to make sure that they don't knock out my V Pokemon, because if they only have 2 prize cards left and they knock out that V Pokemon, they're winning the game, son. So yeah, I've been using this for a while. Filters. If you go on the filters, you can see the different categorization of cards, and it can help you see just select a card and see which ones match the criteria that you have selected. You can also categorize cards based on type, like grass, fire, water, electric, psychic, fighting, so on and so forth, but that's a different kind of categorization. I think that's basically it. That's what I wanted to cover in this video. Hopefully it's not too long. So that was categories of card in the Pokemon trading card game online. Try to understand how many prize cards you get by knocking out each different category of card, and try to keep track of what each category of card really does. What's like their defining trait? The GXs have a GX move. V Stars have V Star powers. V Maxes have a lot of HP. V Unions, you need all 4 of them in your discard pile to use them. So you kind of just want to have an idea of what they do. And when you have that down pat, then understanding the game, following the game should be a little bit easier. that is going to be it for this video. Remember to stay safe out there. Show respect where it is due. Remember that a molecule with trigonal planar geometry has 3 bonding regions that have an angle of 120 degrees between each bonding region. It has no lone pairs. I am the Hopeful Entertainer, and hopefully you have been entertained.